Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Now, I am going live a little early, just letting you know. Wasn't planned, but weather permitting, I want to have Gretchen from Coda Vets on as long as I can. So we're decided to go live. It's storming in her area. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Adam. I'm so excited to be here to share the mission.
Yes, thank you for coming. Before we even get to any of that, I have to ask, how is your son? Is your son okay?
Oh yes, he's fine. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
It was very minor.
That's good. Well, everyone was worried because it happened last week, and I wasn't really prepared. So everyone, I just let everyone know, and they're like, "Oh, everybody flooded in with just hoping and prayers
Yeah.
for your son, and that he was fine." So,
Well, thank you. Thank you for the support and the prayers.
of course. All right. So, just to let everyone know, before we even get started, every super chat that comes in, I am donating to Coda Vets. So if you super chat me today, none of it's coming to me, and I'm totally fine with it. All of it is going to Coda Vets to support the veterans, and you're going to hear all about what Coda Vets does from the Coda Vets that's on the show today. I've been following your account for quite some time, probably about 2 years, and I mean, you actually lost a lot of followers, didn't you? And there was a purge on Twitter. I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. In January, I lost 81,000 accounts, and
Wow.
Twitter was trying to frame it as they were purging the bots, but it was so much more than bots. We had so many veterans that we were missing. My biggest donor was purged. Her and her
Wow.
husband had donated over $700,000 to Coda Vets, and her account was
Wow.
gone. And I spoke to her personally about it, and she said yes, they suspended her account. But the most important piece of that was our elderly vets. A lot of them are shut-ins. They do not have a lot of family support, or maybe none at all. And they
Yeah.
would check in with me from time to time, and vice versa. I would check in with them if they were having a dark moment or they were lonely. They would just say, "Hey, Gretchen, not having a good night," and I kind of just talk them through it. So with my partner, Dr. Cindy Walter, we lost a lot of those veterans, and that was our only connection with them, was through their Twitter account. So what Twitter did, it was wrong, and they impacted a lot of lives.
Wow. That's they did claim that it was a lot of bots, and then of course, Elon buying it, and then turns out there's a lot of bots on the opposite end of the political spectrum that
Mhm.
they're not talking about. I personally know a few people that were purged in that. So I know it was just a lot. It was a political play. That's really what it was, and it really is a shame. But anyway, besides that, let's start from the beginning. Why did you start Coda Vets? What is the reason?
Well, it all stems back to my dad. He was a combat vet. He served in Vietnam, and he came back a very troubled soul. His behavior was very chaotic on the outside, and I believe it was just a direct reflection of how he felt on the inside. He did some horrific things in the jungle. He witnessed some horrific things in the jungle, and he never really did work through it. He did go to the VA early on when he got back from war and told them that his behavior was out of control. Dad was just a hot mess. He was very wild, and the doctor told him he had something called shell shock, and they told him to shove it way down deep and never speak of it again.
Oh
And
wow.
that was the exact opposite of what Dad needed. He needed to talk through it. He needed some sort of therapy. You just cannot hold those types of trauma in, and it eventually just got the best of Dad. Before he passed, I sat down with him, and I was raising my own kids, and I was crying. I said, like, Dad, what are you doing? We need you. I need you. You've got grandkids. And he just looked at me with these huge tears in his eyes, and he just said, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done fighting them. I'm ready to go home. And he meant it. And he had, there was, a gun in the room. He said, that gun right there, I'm not gonna shoot myself because of you kids. But he said, you see that bottle? He said, it's going to do the exact same thing. And he said, I'm just done, Gretchen. And he meant it. My dad was exposed to Agent Orange. He had diabetes. He almost lost a foot, but they were able to save it over at the VA in Asheville, North Carolina, but he ended up losing a toe. So he was dealing with a bunch of different medical issues as well. And dad lost his battle with PTSD back in 2005. And I never forgot that conversation. I kind of tucked it away, and I had to focus on my own kids and raise them. But I always knew I needed to do something to honor him, his life and his service and his death, because it was such a tragedy. And so I started a Twitter page, and I called it Code of Vets, and I started talking about my dad's journey, from a daughter's perspective. But I'm a veteran as well. I served in the Air Force,
Thank you.
and it just thank you, and it just exploded. Veterans started, it resonated in the community, and they started sharing their journeys and their stories and said, Gretchen, I've been on that path, or I'm on that path right now. But they also started sharing their needs, and that's where I started noticing, oh my gosh, there's really a place, for Code of Vets to be more than just a story about dad. And it just organically evolved into a 501c3. I brought on my partner, Dr. Cindy Walter, and she has the skill set that I didn't, which is vetting the veterans and doing the case management. And we built a team underneath her. As we grew to take care of all these vets, we deal with thousands of veterans across the country, which I'm so proud of. But anyway, it all stems back from dad. And I just wanted to do something for him. And his life mattered, and he mattered to me. And I think about him every day, and I know he's with me, and I know he's so proud of what we're doing.
Well, it means a lot. I personally never served, but I know people in my family. My uncle was also in Vietnam, and he wrote a book. So I've seen, or I've read some of the things that he went through. He was a helicopter pilot, so he wasn't in the jungles. So I can't even imagine what that was like. So what year was it when you and your partner started, when you converted it from, more of a forum style to actually, the 501(c)(3), you were started to donate stuff? And what
Right.
was this? When did that happen?
That was in October of 18. I started the page, the Twitter forum, on October 17. So exactly 1 year later, it
Okay.
became a 501c3. So going on 4 years, not quite 4 years, but we're headed in that direction.
Wow. Well, I mean, how many followers you got right now? Let me see.
I think it's right
300,
around, yeah, 366.
366, 366,000. It doesn't surprise me, because I think there's a huge amount of people that want to support vets. And unfortunately, it's not the people making laws and choosing where the taxpayer dollars go, right? We're sending money to essentially gun manufacturers to send guns to other places. Of course, right now it's Ukraine, but it's always been something. And, we're not taking care of our veterans. 22 until none. My brother taught me about it. He's got the tattoo pretty bold on his forearm. Like, you can't miss it. And he's like, I did it there so people see it and ask me what it is, so I can explain what it is. For those who don't know, 22 veterans a day commit suicide, and that's tragic. That's tragic. These are people that have chosen to serve us. You served yourself. I said thank you, but I'll say thank you again, because I don't think people really give reverence to people who actually choose to serve. They're basically saying, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna just live for myself. I'm gonna go serve others. And of course, there's other venues, firefighters and
Hmm.
uh, paramedics, I guess, lots of different avenues. But I don't know, something about, the service, it means just a little bit more. I mean, your life is on the line. I don't know how long you served for, but how long did you serve for, if you don't mind me
four and a
asking?
half 4.5 years, and 3 of those years I served overseas. So I'm definitely not a combat vet, but
Okay.
going over and serving in Germany was such an eye-opening experience for me. I grew up very poor, in poverty, in the mountains of North Carolina, and I had a lot of issues with my dad.
Hmm.
And our family was dysfunctional, and it just, for me, it saved my life. It gave me a structure. It gave me a military family. It just provided me the tools to be able to be successful in life, because I was lacking so much, throughout my childhood and teenage years. And the Air Force really just turned me into, the young woman that I knew that I wanted to be. And I knew I wanted more out of life, and I wanted more for myself. And I, met my husband overseas, and we got married over in Germany. We came back home, but I grew up in the military. It just really gave me the discipline I needed, the structure to be able to go on to go to college, to get my education. I ended up with 4 degrees, and I'm just so proud of what I've built. We've built our version of the American dream, and my dad is a part of that. My dad instilled patriotism in me. He's still in love of Old Glory. There's so many good things about my dad as well. But his PTSD, there was a ripple effect throughout the family, and that's what, all vets will tell you, that it just doesn't impact them; it impacts the entire family and the friends that are involved, on a personal level. So it's just something that we all need to talk about. We need to find better ways of managing it, because I do believe there's still a stigma attached to it. And that's why we have that 22 a day, as our veterans are not coming forward to share that load.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, I mean, look at what they told your father. You got shell shock, shove it down. Don't talk about it. No one wants to hear that. And it's like, men almost aren't allowed to have emotions nowadays. Suddenly, if you have emotions, you're not being manly. And it's like, no, everyone has emotions, especially people that have gone through and seen some, maybe even killed somebody. Like, I've never killed anybody. I don't even know what that would do to me, to know that you took someone's life. I mean, maybe they had to, most likely that's the case, but does that change it? Does that make a difference? Like, you still took someone's life. The implications of what that would do to somebody. And you don't know what, you might see your friend get killed, in a horrifying way, and you're like trying to save him, then you can't. But I don't know, I've seen enough um true story documentaries about war, of course movies and stuff, but that's, movies. It's not really, doesn't really show how graphic it could be out there. I don't know. Yeah, I know we need to support our vets.
Yeah, we do. And especially our combat vets, the trauma that they go through, it's just unspeakable. And again, I witnessed it firsthand with Dad, and I do believe that Dad was in a position where he had to take lives. He was airborne infantry. He was the point man for his squad.
Wow.
And he was given orders to clear the path in the jungle. When I say clear the path, I'm not just talking about the jungle, anybody in his way. Um, so Dad had a heavy load, and he just never was able to speak about it and get it off of his chest. And I believe that if a brother in arms would have sat down with Dad and said, "Hey, Danny, what's going on? Tell me about it, brother," I think that could have made a huge difference. We'll never know. But it's just so important for our veterans to talk through it, to get it off their chest, and especially with a battle buddy, with somebody who's been there and done that. That's why
Right.
I'm such a big proponent for um, facilities where it's combat veterans helping combat veterans. I think that's incredibly important, and because they connect on such a way that none of us can connect with them. And I'm always stressing that. And I just want our veterans to know out there that there is help. There are facilities out there that are geared for you and what you've been through. And the men that work at these places, they've been on that path. So it's just important that we share that information, and that they're aware that there's help and there's hope.
Say there's someone listening right now that wants to go to one of these places. What would they do? Where would they go?
Camp Hope is the first one that comes to mind, and they're in Houston, Texas, and it is specifically for combat trauma. It's for PTSD and TBI. They deal with TBI issues as well. And they deal with the whole human being. That's what I love about it. It's different than how the VA treats you when you go into the psych ward at the VA. They like to throw a bunch of pills at you. And for me, I don't think that that's the answer.
No.
I feel like it compounds the problem, and then they end up getting addicted to these opioids, you know. So for me, it's great to go to a place where you've got brothers in arms that are working there that again have been on that path and also have been through that program, and it's just phenomenal. I can't say enough about it. And if you're out there struggling, contact us and we can connect you. We'll pay for your flight out there. It's for us, it's all about teamwork. It's about us, doing our part to help the veteran along their path and journey to find a stable life so that they can move forward. And it is possible to have a beautiful life and learn how to manage PTSD. And many veterans have. But again, there's many out there that are still suffering in silence.
Well, and taking pills, that that's just the pharmaceutical version of what they told your dad. Shove it down deep. Don't face it. Don't work through it. Just take these pills. You won't think about it. And then of course they get addicted to it, and then big pharma, of course, I'm sure has a deal with the VA. I don't know. I'm just uh, my conspiracy minded
No, I
thoughts.
would agree with you on that. Yeah,
I
they
wouldn't be
definitely
surprised.
they prescribed my dad way too many meds. He'd come out with a brown bag full of huge pill bottles, and of course he would mix the alcohol and the pills, and that's never ever a good thing to do. And I cannot tell you how many veterans out there who do that though. It's very common in our community. It's
Yeah.
just the way of that they're trying to self manage, self medicate in their own way, and there are better options out there.
Well, it's never gonna work,
No,
pills and alcohol only just drown it, and it's always gonna be there, until you
exactly.
actually face it. It's difficult though, like you said, you need someone who has been through it, who can look at you and say, "I understand exactly how you're feeling right now. Tell me how you feel. Let's work through it." We need more people to do that. And just I'm gonna take this moment to just let everyone know. In the description below is the website for Coda Vets. If you need any help at all, reach out, check it out. Down in the description, you can click on it. Also, I have Coda Vets Twitter. If you'd like to follow, it's also not only does she post really just great success stories, because you say, here's the issue, we got to help this person, and usually within a day or two you're like, mission success, like, thanks everybody. And it's like constantly, and it's so wonderful to see someone who's actually making these movements to helping our veterans, and it's not just talk. You are actually doing it. um, I want to ask about this. You've posted a couple times, not not very often, but there are people that attack you, claiming that it's not true, it's not real, you're pocketing the money. Like, and I've seen you post some things like, I've got all the proof, like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, why do people, like, where do people, why? What is the reasoning for that, or what do you think?
You know what? I just think it's evil versus good, good versus evil. We are doing something. I'm not a perfect person. I've never, tried to portray myself as perfect. I make mistakes. My
Yeah.
partner Cindy makes mistakes, but we have a very good system in place. And all of our financial docs are on our website. And I encourage people to go look at them because what we do, it's a lot of work. We operate on 2%, and it's hard to beat that. So we
Yeah.
do not take a paycheck. Our auditing reports are out there as well. Go look. I'm not proud of it. Like, I like to tout it because we work 7 days a week from the time we get up until the time we go to bed, working on veteran cases in real time. That's how we function. We're very unique Oregon that way. So when we get attacked, it blows my mind
Yeah.
because there's no sense in it, and especially when you can go to the website and just look at everything that we've got out there.
Yeah.
And recently, we did go through an IRS investigation. There was a complaint submitted about me being political, so we had to go through a formal investigation. And at the end, the investigator we had a conference call. I had signed over power of attorney to our CPA firm. My partner Cindy was on the phone call, and he said, "I don't get to do this often, Gretchen, but I'm going to take off my investigative hat, so to speak, and we're going to
Oh.
speak we're going to speak informally." So he said, I just want to thank you for your service and your continued service for our country. And he said, your org is superb. He said, I do not even have any recommendations on how for you to be more transparent than you already are, because we have two CPA firms. We have one that does our monthly, our quarterly and annual reports, and then we have a different CPA firm that comes in and audits us every year. So
Oh, wow.
he's like, it doesn't get any better than that. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, truly, you guys are setting the standard. So he was thanking Cindy for what she does, behind the scenes with all of the veterans. And she's like the octopus, putting it all together. And I'm out there raising the funds. And he said, you guys, we want to keep you around for a long time. So I have his name and number. If I ever have any questions, I can give him a call, and I have, and he calls me back, and he'll just say, these are my suggestions. But the political piece of it, he just kind of cleared the boundaries for me, because there was no business plan with this. It was organically, just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And I told him that. I said, I've never researched, 501c3s, and I never wanted to start one. It just happened. And he said, Gretchen, he said, you have a right to your opinions. He said, with the topics that are going on in the country, we're just at just a difficult place in our nation right now. And he said, you have a right to speak on that. He said, the only thing you can't do as a 501c3 is you cannot endorse a candidate, and you cannot ask people to give to a campaign. And so I said, I'm good with that. I said, so now I get out there and I just really, I just tell it like it is, because I feel like we are at such a, serious place in our country. And I've got this incredible platform, and we're helping veterans, but at the same time, I'm very protective of our country.
Yeah.
I took that oath, and it'll never expire. So, I am using my voice to speak the truth, and just to put it out there. And so now that I know what I can and can't do, I've embraced it 100%.
Good. We need people to not be afraid of speaking out. I mean, there's a lot of people that just are afraid of getting fired, of basically afraid of being washed over by the SJW leftist, I don't know, army. That they have such power for no reason. It seems like I don't understand it, because I'm very logic based. I wasn't very political until 2020, and then everyone kind of started paying attention, or at least that's how it felt, or
Mm-hmm.
it's true for me anyway, and that's actually when I found your account. But I realized I'm way more conservative than I ever thought. I always thought that I would, well, traditional liberal. I don't like the word liberal anymore. It's kind of tainted now. But liberty, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
um libertarian, way more than anything else, I think. But I love America, right? And I want to remain free. I want to be able to say whatever I want to say. And I love the Constitution. I'm like, these things are controversial now. And I don't even understand why that would be. And it's so important that we have people like you who have good, strong platforms and a good backbone as well. It's not just any old account. You have such a strong base because you're coming from a place of such a great cause. And again, I got to thank you again. Like, I've seen you help so many people over the past 2 years. I don't honestly, and I could say this, I don't know anyone else who's helped more people than you. Seriously. I mean, I follow a lot of people, and that's really incredible. So thank you very much.
It's an honor. I really feel like it's a calling. It just feels right to me. It has exploded in growth since day one, and because Code Vets is pure, it really is about giving back to the veteran community and
Yeah.
founded by a veteran. And and I have such a heart for individuals who struggle financially, because I grew up with not enough. I know what it
Yeah.
feels like to grow up poor. And so, I really, for me, it's just something I need to do. And Cindy has the same heart. And, I think it's a godsend that we cross paths, because she's incredibly brilliant, and she knows all of the policies with the VA, but also she has her PhD in public health. So she's very well versed in the public health side of this, the side of it too, and she can navigate with these veterans and find them stability. We're just not an ATM machine. I am able to raise funds quickly because of how trustworthy we are, and we do the right things with the money. But at
Yeah.
the same time, while I'm doing that, she's securing the vet with it. We have a team in place as well, and she'll assign certain vets to certain advocates, and we get it done. We make sure that they are solid, that they are either have a job or they have jobs lined up, that they are applying to all of the benefits that they're entitled to while they're straightening their lives out. If they do need some sort of help or therapy, we're making sure that they find it and get into the right place. And so it's a lot of work. We're constantly talking to each other about all these different cases that we work on. And it's just amazing in the background that people don't get to see, exactly what Vets does, because all everybody sees are the missions that are out there and then the mission accomplished, but you don't see what's in between.
Right.
So yeah, so we get crazy, we laugh, we cry, we're, scrambling for resources and, other entities to step in and help us, wrap around these vets. So it's amazing. And we have grown to such a good level of, we do have, quite a few partners now that we can call on and say, hey, we got this veteran in your area. This is what they need. And so we're able to get some wraparound support. So I love what we do every day. And it's a beautiful thing. And again, I don't want anybody out there to put me or Cindy or any of the team on a pedestal, because that's not what this is about. This is about our veterans who are really struggling out there. They've got real needs. And the needs are staggering, especially coming out of the 2-year pandemic. And now we're in historic inflation. Everybody that we deal with, when I say everybody's savings are just shot. That's if they even had any in the first place, because a lot of the times we deal with veterans who live paycheck to paycheck. And I think a lot of Americans live that way.
Yep.
So it's such a real struggle out there right now. And we're seeing such, whole new level of homelessness, of evictions are exploding. And I don't know how much you want to dig into, but our veterans are really hurting right now. And the needs are they're real, but but it's the basic needs. It's, evictions, which is the roof over your head. It's food inconsistencies, because groceries are so expensive. Gas is high. And so, they're trying to, do I fill my tank up, or do I, buy milk and bread and peanut butter? So they're making all these crazy hard choices. And so we are trying to touch as many lives as we can.
Yeah. My instinct is to just say thank you again. So I'm going to thank you for that. Do you ever meet these veterans that you help?
Yeah, I have met some, and I do have a story to share. His name is Ray, and he's in Alabama. And Cindy and I both worked with him, gosh, for probably about a year. And he was suicidal. He's living in his car. He'd given up hope. He had some legal issues, but there were a lot of circumstances. He was a very good guy, didn't have a criminal history at all. It was a crazy issue. So Cindy and I really dug in and tried to assist him as much as we could. We paid for the car payments for several months while we were trying to figure out a way to get him out of the car. Cindy called me one day and said, Gretchen, Ray, we're going to lose Ray in the next 48 hours. If we don't have a miracle, he's done. He's done. And she was crying. And so, I got the phone, I was crying, and my phone rang, and it was another vet down in Alabama, about 2.5 hours from Ray. And he immediately was like, hey, Gretchen, what's going on? What's wrong? And so I told him, I said, hey, we've got this vet in Alabama, where you are, somewhere somewhat close to you. And we're going to lose him. And so he said, send him my address. He said it because he owns 4 pizza restaurants. He said, I'm going to give him a job. I'm going to put him up in a hotel, and let's see how it goes. And so fast forward 2 years later, he has been given Employee of the Month. He's been promoted. He makes about $60,000 a year.
Wow.
The community has embraced him. Like, the veteran that has been part of Vets for a while now just loves him and thinks of him as family. So he's got this whole new life. And so he was coming through the Nashville way last January, and he wanted to meet me. So he came and knocked on my door, And oh my gosh, you talk about emotional.
I bet.
Oh,
I'm tearing up a little bit
oh,
about this beautiful
it
story.
it was awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
he is such a beautiful, humble spirit. You could not meet a better person, and it could not have happened to a better man. And we were just hugged, and yeah, my husband took a couple pictures of us, and I did post them out on Twitter. It's just I'll send you after the interview. I'll
Yeah.
send you a picture of
Please,
Ray and
please
I.
do. Yeah.
He's our poster boy. He has done so well. He literally he we almost lost him, but you know what? He found his way back. Cindy also had helped him with his VA benefits, and so now he's getting his the benefits he's entitled to, and he's working full time, and he's got a life now, and he's got people that care about him. He's got friends, and it was just he had the biggest smile on his face, and that's my paycheck. That's my paycheck.
Yeah. Wow. That feels so good hearing that. I mean, wow, what a great story. That is something to live for. A lot of people, purpose. I talk about this a lot. People we're lacking purpose a lot of everything's being automated. Life it's tough. And to find such a strong purpose in life is such a treat. So and I could feel it from you, like
I get
you
so excited.
I believe it. I trust that.
you
I
know,
can tell. Yeah, I mean I'm feeling how strongly you were connected to Ray there, and what a beautiful story. That was thank you for sharing that. My next question was what's your most memorable mission accomplished? But I'm guessing that's who
I have
what
many. I've got
oh,
Ray
I
is
would like
one of them.
yeah,
Ray,
sure, yeah.
yeah.
I would
So
love if you can tell me all the
you know,
stories, like, I'd love to hear them.
well, we deal with so many different issues. We help financially. That's a huge piece of what we do, but we're also just sharing hope. Just because our veterans sometimes isolate themselves, and they don't have the support system that they need. And so I'll just put randomly out there a tweet about hope, or just something positive. And I got a message one day on my Twitter account, and it just said, Gretchen, will you call me? And this was and it left a number. And I didn't recognize the Twitter account, but I called, and I said, hey, it's Gretchen with Code Vets. And, the guy on the other end said, hey, Gretchen, he said, I needed to tell you something. He said, you don't know my name. And he said, you don't need to. And he said, I just wanted to share with you that last summer, you saved my life. And he said, I was sitting at my kitchen table, and he said, I had my gun in one hand, and he said, I had my phone in the other. And he said, I was going through a hellacious divorce. I didn't know if I was ever going to see my kids again. And he said, I'm just going to be honest, I have an alcohol problem. He said, but my phone vibrated. And he said, I looked down on my phone and I clicked on it, and it was a tweet from Code Vets. And it was a tweet about hope. And he said, I started reading through all the replies from the other veterans on that tweet. And he said, that day I chose differently because of you. And that's just one of the most powerful stories. And it was just very simple, just simple words about hope. And you just never know when you're going to touch somebody's life. So anybody out there who's listening who wants to follow Code Vets or donate or share the mission, those retweets really that's the heartbeat of how we operate, is getting those tweets out there so that the veterans see them. Because you never know when your retweet could save a life, or could, or put those words in front of a veteran that they really need to see it in that. And so
Yeah.
I believe very strongly in what we do. I believe it's a God thing. And it's just, every day I wake up and, I tell the veterans good morning, and then we just start our day from there, and we just keep going. Because it's just so important for them to feel like they're part of something. We've built a very informal network. It's not formal at all. It's very informal, but it's powerful. And we've grown it to a point where I know we've saved lives, and we've given second chances at life, and we've shared hope, and all of that matters. There's so much darkness in our country right now. We need light. We need goodness, and I'm hoping that that's what we're doing out there every day.
It's amazing. Thank you. I I can't stop myself from saying thank you, because I couldn't agree more. You know, it is very dark. You know, the politics, um, this trans. I don't even know we don't even needing to get into that conversation. You know, kids are being. Uh, there's just a lot of darkness, and you're right. You know, light is much needed nowadays. We need it. We need words are powerful. You know, I talk about how, you know, I'm from the age of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. But words can also really lift you up in a time of need. And you never know what anyone's going through. So it's man, very inspiring to hear this. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I love it, but I will share that we also do something. We cover funerals for unclaimed veterans.
Oh,
We for indigent families. If there's a death in the family of a veteran and there's no funeral insurance, and that's common in our country. Funerals are expensive.
yeah.
So that's something we've taken on, is to assist in that area, and it just kind of organically happened that way. But we have funeral directors that follow Code of Vets, and if they do have an unclaimed vet or a family that's struggling, they'll reach out to us, and they generally do work with us as well, with discounts. But it's just we do so many different things, and I think that social media, it's such a powerful tool. I mean, I'm telling you what, Twitter is a very toxic place to navigate. you know, uh,
You
you
could
know,
say that again.
oh my
Jeez.
gosh. But at the same time, it's incredibly powerful,
True.
because I've raised over $6 million on the Twitter platform alone. That
Wow.
for me, that's mind blowing. So, so we take on all of these different types of cases, and we're almost like a warehouse for veterans because we just don't have one mission, which is great, which I think it's great. Again, we operate very unique. But the reason why we can do that is the power of social media. So you can use
Sure.
it for something good, to build people up, to help, to assist, or you can use it to tear people down and destroy. Like, I've been, because there have been people who have attacked me over a tweet that they've misread, or, they have no idea who I am or what I do, but they immediately make assumptions about me, and then they try to cancel Code of Vets. And I'm like, it's hard to cancel somebody who doesn't take a paycheck.
True.
And if you're trying to cancel Code of Vets, it's not going to hurt me. It's going to hurt the veterans waiting in line. That's what makes me mad. Is that it's personally not going to hurt me. It would make it, of course I'd be furious about it, but it would not harm me financially. Who it's going to harm are the hundreds of veterans that are waiting their turn. And
Yeah.
they're all just waiting for their picture to pop up, because they know when that happens, it's just going to matter of time before they get the funds that they need, to stop that eviction, to keep their lights on, to keep their water running, to go buy groceries for their kids, or to repair their vehicles so they can actually get to work and keep their job. So
Yeah.
what we're doing is we're doing life and death stuff, because when you're dealing with veterans who have eviction notices or foreclosures, or they've got utilities disconnects notices, usually they're just overwhelmed. And they
Yep.
do have, and some of them, not all of them, have suicidal ideation, because they're just at the end of the rope. They're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this mess. The country, is a mess. I'm not making the amount of money I used to make pre-COVID, because a lot of our vets have lost their jobs. And now that they've got jobs, they're making less wages or the same wages, but inflation is so high. It's, they're
It,
basic. Yeah. Yeah. They're living on less.
hmm
And bills are more than ever now. So, we get the ones who have issues. And so that's who we're dealing with every day. And so it's a struggle for us, to maintain our positivity, because it's such a heavy load. So when we get out there on Twitter and we're pushing out these veterans, and then, if I make an opinion, and I get attacked, I'm like, really? Do you guys even realize the load I'm carrying? You just won't let me have my moment to speak my voice, which I've served for our freedoms. I have a right to speak as well. And so that
absolutely.
drives it. Just our country right now is in such a crazy place. But at the same time, it makes me mad, and I get stronger. And I'm like, I'm not backing down. I will never stop helping vets ever.
Yeah.
But I'm also not going to be silent. I'm not going to allow people to browbeat me or to call me a racist or call me a homophobe and have it, intimidate me or bully me and make me feel like, oh my gosh, if I say this or if I put this tweet out, the Code of Vets may not, be in existence in 5 days. It, I'm just not worried about that because I feel like what we do is so incredible and we do it with the right heart, that I'm willing to take that flack for our country and for our vets. So bring it on.
Yeah.
I love it. I think Old Glory is worth fighting for and our freedoms are worth fighting for. And that's kind of what we're in that moment right now, Adam, is we are honestly fighting for our Constitution, our Republic, and the freedoms that have already been secured for us.
I agree. 100%. It does feel like there is an absolute push to take that away from Americans. Like we are, I mean, I fully believe America is a shield wall between like a totalitarian world government and freedom of the individual, which is so essential. Like without that, I mean, we're just gonna all become serfs, to this world government that's out there, and they try to deny it, but then it says world government like
Yeah,
behind them on like the wall, and it's like, how are they denying it? It's like it's written on the wall behind them. Like that's what they want. They want a global government, and
right.
they don't. Nationalism isn't allowed. Oh, but if you're Ukrainian, you can be a nationalist, but not in America. You're not allowed to think America needs to be as strong as it should be, which I fully believe. I think America. I I, I could see my beanie. I used to wear a "Make America Great Again" beanie, and I was like, "Make America Greater." Like I think that is really where it's at. Like let's make America greater. Like let's just be stronger. Like why? And even that is controversial. Which frustrates me because people, I don't know, they're too busy fighting their own battles. I mean, life is tough. Yeah, and inflation, food is insanely expensive, gas. I mean, my God, it's like $10 a gallon in California right now. It's I just, man, I don't know. Not to get started on Biden and that whole administration. I mean, my goodness. Ugh,
The only thing I'm going to say about all of this is we are the last bastion of freedom. We are.
I agree.
And I feel like a stronger America equals a safer world. And all
Agreed.
of us, I think every American out there, we all have a responsibility to secure our freedom. And because if we don't, we'll lose it. And I'm going to go down in a blaze of glory. I am not going to go down without a fight because everything that we stand for is unique. We are the greatest experiment in the history of mankind. And I
Absolutely.
think we all have a responsibility to protect it, not just veterans, but every single American that loves our republic and enjoys our freedoms. And I just can't imagine, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around any American hating our country, wanting to strip us of our history. Are we a perfect country? Hell no, we're not a perfect country, but we are the greatest country on earth, and
Absolutely.
we have come a long way, and we could go even further if we would unite and work together. But
Yes.
right now, this division is so just evil and hateful. I
Yeah.
just don't even know if we can find common ground anymore. And probably the thing that scares me the most is not being able to find common ground.
Civil
With
discourse.
Yeah, exactly. So my prayer and my hope, I will always have hope as long as we have breath. There's hope is that we'll find a way to live in unison, to agree to disagree, but at the same time, our core values, our foundation, that's our Constitution, and we
Yep.
and we have to defend it. Our 1A, our 2A, all of our rights. We have to make sure we're standing up for them because they're being stripped away, they're being eroded. Um, I believe they think they're antiquated, but guess what? What has made us so great? What has made us so powerful? And that it's our freedoms. It's just there's no other country out there like us. So
Yep.
I
I
think,
agree.
and there's nobody coming to save us. It's us. It's on each and every one of us to step up and speak out.
Okay, well, so I was about to ask. I'm like, so you said, we need to stand up and like because they're coming. What do you suggest? I always ask all of my guests, or I try to rather, like, what is the way? What is the path forward? How do we reclaim civil discourse? How do we get to the point where we, I don't want to say tolerate each other, accept that we're different, I guess is more of what I'm going for. Because it felt like in the 90s, I was born in early 80s, so, I was kind of becoming aware of socialness in the 90s and the 2000s, and this it never really was the case. Like, people disagreed, but they didn't hate each other. And it feels like we're at this point where, like, if you don't agree with me, I hate you and you're evil.
Right.
And like, that's it. There's no discussion. There's no middle ground at all. It's just like, that's it. We're on one side or the other side, and that's it. Like, how do we bridge that? Is there a chance?
I think there's always a chance. And what I try
Yeah.
to do is I try to have a discourse with people. If they are nothing but rude and ugly and calling me names, I just have to block them out, because you cannot have a conversation or discussion. But I've had many conversations across the aisle where, because they see the kind of work I do, so they
Yeah.
know I'm not a horrible person. So I've been able to have some very productive conversations with people with completely opposite views than me. And so I feel like that's all we can do is try, is to have those conversations. If you get shut down or called names, or, there being nothing but rude, disrespectful, you can't, there, there's no point.
Yeah.
You're not gonna convince anybody of anything.
Yeah.
But
Their mind's made up.
exactly, exactly. So my thing is, when I go out to the community, we are a melting pot. We all mesh well. We open the doors for each other. We talk to each other regardless of who you are. It's social media and the media. They are just driving this hate-filled narrative. And that's
Yep.
where we as average Americans have to figure out a way around them and try to save our country despite what they're trying to do. They're
True.
honestly trying to destroy us.
Well,
So
that's why they're
it's
coming so hard with censorship, and as soon as
exactly.
why you got purged 80,000 people, because they need to maintain that same control on the internet. Because even right now, like, you and I are having a conversation, they can't stop us from having a conversation. They can certainly push the algorithm down on my channel, which I know they do, because I'm very political and I talk about my political opinions, and they don't go with the narrative, because I don't like what a lot of these people are doing. But it's that ability to circumvent them, them being the people that want to destroy our country, that want to take away our freedoms. It feels like they're like desperate to maintain that control, because they are losing it. Because people, I feel 2020, it, man, what a ridiculous, crazy year that was. But the one thing about it is, they had no other choice. They were locked in their homes. What else are they going to do? They're going to be on the internet. They're going to read. They're going to connect
Right.
more. And then now that connection, there's been a plethora of red pills everywhere. Everyone's like, wow, oh, they're lying. Like, the media lies? Wow. Who knew? Who knew the media lies? Like,
Right,
this
right.
so, yeah, I think we're reaching a point where I think the majority of people are realizing that the majority of people don't like what's going on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Most of us are sane Americans.
Yeah,
We just want to live our lives. We want our freedoms. We don't
correct.
want the government interfering with every single decision that we're making in our lives, making our medical
Correct.
decisions. That's not America. That's completely opposite of who we are in our foundation. And
Right?
I do believe millions of Americans are waking up to this. And I do think we're going to see changes. We just all have to, stay frosty, stay cool, keep our cool,
Mhm.
over these next few months, but it's going to get worse. I do believe over the next few months, especially over the summer, we'll see some things escalate. And again, because the midterms are approaching, but
Yep.
we all have to know that there are more of us. There are more sane Americans. There are more Americans out there who embrace our freedoms and our values and just who we are as a country. We know we're a great country.
Yep.
And that's what they're trying to push, is that we're a terrible country.
And
That
racist somehow. It's like,
yes, yeah,
no,
it's just
like, I'm sorry, no.
it's absolutely insane. I, for one, wouldn't work 7 days. If I were racist, I would not work 7 days a week from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed for veterans across the spectrum, for all races, all ethnicities, all religions,
Yep.
whatever your gender preference is. I don't care if you served, if you are in real need, we're going to help you. We're going to find a way to secure you. And so, so that's just, and anybody common sense looking at that, it's like most people are like that. We all have big hearts, as
Yep.
Americans. So, and we like to give back. So I'm just not buying into the narrative that they're pushing, and I'm pushing back, and we all need to. And I know you do too, Adam. But I do think we're going to see it get better eventually. But over this next summer, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
think we'll
agree.
see. Yeah, yeah, we'll see some craziness. It's going to get a little bit nutty. It already is, but it just makes me sad, that our veterans have to go through this and watch it. It's gut wrenching, when you've
'Cause, I
served
mean,
your country to see this level
right.
of division. Yeah,
It's sad,
it
we're
is. It is.
I mean, our country is all about, it was the melting pot. I mean, is there a more diverse country than America? I
No,
I don't think so.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
And
there isn't.
it's just when I joined the military, I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina where there was literally no diversity. So when I went to the Air Force and went through basic training, and then I went to my first duty station, my second duty station. So throughout all that 4.5 years, I was like a sponge taking in all this diversity, not just race and ethnicity, but all the different foods from the different regions, all the different accents. I loved it. I
Yeah.
was like, this is great. There's a great big world out here. So I just took in every moment of it, and it just made me a better person, or gave me a broader base, a
Mhm.
great foundation to springboard from, and just live life. But I feel like that's how most Americans are. When we get
Sure.
around each other, it's just we have a great time. We
Yep.
don't need the media pushing all this hate on us, because we're the exact opposite of that. We are a melting pot.
Yep. Agreed. All right, I have a bunch of super chats, and I just want to say thank you everyone for super chatting. Just in case you didn't know, I did say it at the beginning. Every super chat that I've gotten so far until the end of the show, I am going to be donating to Coda Vets. So it's kind of it just from the Crigler show to Coda Vets, just from following you for so long, and my chat is seriously one of the best chats on all of YouTube, if not the best. They're awesome people. I actually have a lot of veterans that are regulars in my chat as well. And I thank all of you guys for doing that. Just so any super chat, if you guys send it to, this way, it's going to Coda Vets. Just so you know, you're donating to a good cause, and I will circumvent the YouTube cut because YouTube's going to take a cut. I'm gonna basically whatever the number is, that's what I'm gonna donate. So I'm gonna make up for the 30%, like whatever YouTube's gonna YouTube, but that's all right. Robert Wiles has for $10. Thank you, Robert. Says, I hope this makes Betty smile and Diana Francisco smile. And thanks for all she does. My late grandfather, World War II, uncle died in Vietnam. My dad is Army. Brother, nephews. I'm sorry, I'm not exactly. Oh, okay. So your late grandfather was in World War II. Your uncle died in Vietnam, and your dad is in the Army. And I guess your brother and your nephews. Be blessed, everyone, and our vets. Thank you, Robert, very much. I appreciate that. And then I have a few super chats. You guys didn't even say anything. Obviously, you're donating to a great cause. Thank you so much for the $10. Celluloid Dream, Randy for $10. Thank you very much. Steffi for £20. Thank you. I don't know what that translates to, but I really do appreciate that. The Magnum Express, one of our regulars, for $10. Thank you very much. Robert Wiles again says, I don't have the money for this, Adam, but for this I will do it. I am an Army brat. LOL. Be blessed, everyone, and our vets. Thank you again, Robert. You're too kind. Bobcat for $10. Thank you very much. As a veteran myself, the biggest problem I ran into is not having a mission anymore. It's not an easy problem to solve, but it can be solved. Having good people around helps. That's actually a really good point. You think about what military life is like. I mean, you were military, so it's very structured. You have a goal. You're doing something for a reason to get something done. In civilian life, you're the person, suddenly you are in control of that structure, and it's very easy to fall apart if someone's not telling you to keep structure. I talked about this last week, and let me get your opinion on it. Actually, Governor DeSantis put out a statement about fatherlessness and how it's a huge problem in society. And I kind of made a comparison to the military in a sense where military is kind of like a father figure. And I mean, in your own case, with your dad and being, you kind of mentioned it a little bit about how, you were kind of missing some things in your younger years. And then you joined the military, and it really kind of helped you become that person that you became. Now, I don't know your relationship with your mother, but is that, am I wrong to kind of make that assumption where it's like the military is kind of like that strong-handed father figure to kind of like whip you into shape?
Oh there's discipline, structure. We all have a common mission. We work as a team. You bond. There is a real brotherhood and sisterhood in the military. And then when you transition back into civilian life, you're missing that camaraderie.
Yeah,
And it just leaves this huge hole. And it actually has that it has made some of our veterans suicidal because that was their whole purpose. Their whole mission in life was to serve their country, especially if you serve 15, 20, 25 years and all of a sudden it's gone. What
yeah,
do you do? And you don't have another mission. You don't have another purpose. If you don't find that or create that, in the civilian world, it leaves you at a loss. And
right.
there's, depression, anxiety. I read a story, and this had nothing to do with cadets, where someone had served, I believe, 25 years, and then under a year, once he had gotten out, he just had not found purpose, and he had put his dress uniform on, drove to the VA, and shot himself in the VA parking lot. And it really was about losing his that sense of purpose and not being
Yeah.
able to find out where he belongs in the military. Um, and
Wow.
so it's so important for each veteran to find that, and that's what Code of Vets is trying to do in a very informal way, and it's social media, but it's also important for veterans to have that in the real world too, in
Yeah.
their neighborhood, their community, and to get involved. But we do it on as best as we can on our end and provide it out in the social media world. But oh gosh, it's a huge issue making that transition. It's a struggle for many of our vets.
I mentioned it earlier about how a lot of younger generations don't have a purpose. I mean, a lot of people don't have purpose. So, but they kind of grow up not having that purpose. Not, and I was talking about you. You have found such
Yeah.
a great purpose, but imagine how it would feel to have a strong purpose for a long time and then lose it. That is
Oh,
so
absolutely.
that is so much more devastating to human psyche than just simply not ever having it, but like not finding your purpose. Like you think you'll find it eventually, maybe, hopefully, right? Hopefully one will find it, but to have it and have it be so solid too, and then be surrounded with people that all have the same purpose. I never really looked at the military from that angle before, but then to come home and not only lose your purpose, but people around you not even giving you the respect of what you went through. A lot of people don't look at vets with respect anymore, and that's a travesty, as far as I'm concerned. I think that's horrible. Whenever I see a vet, I like to salute them. Just to remind them, like, hey, I salute you. Like, you served for me. Like, thank you for that. And just that gesture, like, I c- I know that I've certain especially older members, that because they always are wearing their colors. I could tell that they appreciate it. It's like, if I can make a vet smile, like, that makes me feel
Yeah.
good. So, man,
Yeah,
that's devastating.
it's powerful, and it can, it does that. It's a contributing factor to suicide. I came across an airborne vet who I absolutely adore. His name's Boone Cutler, and he came up with the Spartan Pledge. He attempted suicide. He had gotten injured, and he was at Army. He was at Walter Reed for a period of time, and had some serious injuries. But he came up with, it's something called the Spartan Pledge, and I absolutely love it. And I've got it posted on my Twitter account right now, and it's I will not take my life by my own hand until I talk to my battle buddy. My mission is to find a mission to help my warfighter family. And it's a simple pledge, but it's so powerful. And
Yeah.
he goes around the country, speaking, at different vet groups, and if there's reunions, Vets actually paid for his travel to go to a Marine reunion, and one of the Marines had reached out to me and said, we've lost, I believe I wanted to say 17 in his battalion. I mean, it
Wow.
was it's just crazy numbers of suicide. And so he said, is there any way that Coda Vets can assist with this, this reunion I'm putting together, because it's a pretty big, and I don't have the money. So we sent $5,000, but we also sent Boone. We thought it'd be a great, since they were experiencing such suicide in their unit, to send
Yeah.
him to do this pledge. And they all embraced it. And the one Marine who had initially reached out, he said, Gretchen, he said, I think we may have saved a couple of lives by doing this. So that what we all try to do matters. Like, we all try to do our part, and to save these lives, and to keep our veterans on track, and to let them know you're not alone. There's such a huge sense of community out there, and we all need each other to support each other. And I just, really, ask our veterans just to be on the lookout, for groups in your community to be a part of. Just to and to create your little battle buddy system, even if just 3 or 4 of you. It's so important, to do that, and to have that sense of brotherhood. And there's nothing like it. It's hard to recreate that outside of the military.
Yeah, I
But if you
believe it.
try, you can find those special bonds and those special friendships. So that's something we all need to, to talk about, and to try to create as best as we can in our own way.
Yes, indeed. I agree. All right, we got some more. Well, we're doing really good. Thank you guys so much. We've already raised over $250. Thank you all so much. This is awesome. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it's already more than I expected. So thank you guys, everyone who's donated. All of the proceeds are going to Coda Vets, and I will make a donation after the show. Thank you all very much. I got a few more, many more actually. Thank you guys. Now, let's see here. Lisby says, thank you to all who serve and have served. God bless America. We love you. Thank you, Lisby. Thank you very much. Horror Amarada for $20. Thank you, Horror. I appreciate that. St. Miles for $20. Thank you, St. Miles. Says, contributing to a great show. Thank you very much. And a great cause. Salty Scotch for $50. Thank you very much, Salty Scotch. Says, thank you, Adam. Honestly, I believe in this very strongly. I actually, let me show you something. This means a lot to me. This is and you said you served in the Air Force, right?
Yes.
This was sent. This was flown in a U.S. Air Force C-130H. That's Hercules, right? That's like the rocket powered one, I think. A
I think so.
C-130.
Can I put on my glasses? Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, and then they actually sent the case as well.
That's amazing.
I have the letter, and this means a lot to me. This was actually it's the Timcast news team when I used to be on another show, and this was sent to us, and it didn't feel like they really they were like, "Oh, cool," and I was like, "Cool, this is incredible! Like
That's awesome.
this is the best thing that ever could have been like done for us.
Yeah.
Like they flew a flag for us. Like I don't know. I for some reason
Yeah.
I wanted to join the Air
I
Force when
love that.
my uncle was in the Air Force, and I was I'm colorblind. So as a kid, I don't even know if it's true anymore. I'm told that it's not true anymore. But if you're colorblind, you can't fly jets. And I was devastated as a kid because that's what I was told. So I kind of was like, that was my plan to
Hmm.
then be an astronaut, and I was gonna fly. You know, anyway, I was devastated. But that's one of it. That might be my favorite thing that has ever been sent
I love
um
it. That's
to
very
me.
special.
Yeah, I don't have a place for it. So I have it sitting right in front of me, so I can always it's always just
Yeah.
sitting right there. I could see it. But yeah, that means a lot to me. I really like that flag. I learned how to fold a flag just because I actually folded it myself to put it in there. I don't It's not straight, but I can't get it straight, the stars. But I don't know. I did my best.
I
Uh,
think it looks great.
thank you. Deranged lunatic, aka DL, for $2 just sends a little heart. Thank you very much. John Smith says for two says TYFYS. I don't know what that is. Thank you for your service. Yes, that's got to be it. You're the GOAT on LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn as well? Because
Yes, I
okay,
am.
okay. I'm not. I have a
Yeah.
LinkedIn, but I haven't looked on it in
Yeah. I've
many.
gotten very active on LinkedIn lately, actually, and I love it. It's just given me an alternative platform to work on because
Yeah.
generally I'm on Twitter all of the time, but LinkedIn has exploded in the past 3 or 4 months, and so I've been
Oh,
splitting my time between LinkedIn and Twitter, and I love it. It's a different place to operate. There's a lot of professionals over there, so that I've been able to access different level of donors, and
yeah,
we've got such a long line of serious needs that it's good for me to be able to introduce like a whole new audience to what we're doing. So
yeah,
and when I share a veteran over there, if it touches their heart, they give, and then I show them the mission accomplished. So it's just I'm I'm doing something a little bit different, and I love it because people are really responsive to it over at LinkedIn, and they've just embraced me. So I'm proud of the work we do, and it's easy. It's easy to share what we do because it's such a good cause.
yeah. Oh, I believe it. Yeah, definitely. It's great. Well, and LinkedIn too. Because it's for jobs, right? It's like a job oriented
Yeah, so
professionals to
yeah,
find
yeah,
positions.
so I'll post veterans resumes, but I'll post some needs, and I'll give overviews of what we do, and
Mhm.
everybody loves it. It just and I had one day we had 7 homeless veterans apply for assistance in one morning.
Wow.
And that does not include all the other veterans that are applying. It's just for me it was overwhelming, and I put a post out over there on LinkedIn and said, hey, this is what's going on in our country. And we're a small team, and if we're getting these numbers of homeless vets in one morning, that's a problem. Like
Yeah.
that's indicative of a larger scale of homeless vets, and we all need to be taking that seriously, and everybody's been incredibly responsive over there, so I'm enjoying my time over at LinkedIn. So it's neat
Nice.
to see that somebody saw that I've been working over there.
What is a small team? How many people is Coda Vets?
Well, I would say there's about 10 of us behind the scenes. My partner, Dr. Cindy Walter, and we're the ones who really run Coda Vets. And then
Yeah.
she has a team underneath her. She has about, I would say, 5 or 6 um, advocates that work underneath her. And then I have a couple that are on Twitter that I'll go to for certain, support for other veterans. So and then I have a PR lady, and she does her work pro bono. We do not pay her. So she does our press
Wow.
releases and things like that. So there's about 10 of us, and we can process through a lot of veterans because that the way we operate. So our website is codavets.com. There's a vet need form that veterans fill out, and then Cindy and 2 or 3 other advocates, they look at these forms coming in every day, about 3 or 4 times a day. And what they do is they send out a template email. The veteran has to submit their military documentation for proof of service, but they also have to provide documentation for their needs.
Okay.
So once they send all of that in, Cindy, make sure it's legit, before, and then she looks to see if what are their services they may need. She'll speak to them on the phone. And then once she has them ready for me, she'll send me an email with the veteran's picture, a brief synopsis of what the financial issue is. And then I post it out on Twitter, and I raise the funds. And it's just so we're able to go through, and then she'll assign that vet an advocate, for whatever, like if they need assistance with their VA claim, or if they need to sign up for SNAP or HEAP or whatever it is, that she'll farm that out to other advocates. And then, so we're able to get through, oh my gosh, we've assisted almost 5,000 veterans. So it's
Wow.
amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're killing it.
And that's under
Yeah.
4 years?
Yeah, it'll be 4 years in October, so
Soon.
not quite 4 years. It'll be,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm just
Amazing.
It works. And the thing is we could assist more if we had more funding, because we've got the veterans sitting there waiting. It's just I'm having to raise the money one veteran at a time, because again, we operate in real time, which means when I post that veteran out there, we have one pot of money. It's one PayPal link.
Yeah.
And as the funds are coming in, I'm watching the PayPal account, and when I have enough money to send a veteran, I send it out. So even though I've raised over 6 million, we're not sitting on 6 million.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, we've got like $800 in the PayPal account. So I'll wake up at 3 in the morning just and check my phone, my PayPal, and if I have $2,000 in there, I'll get up and I'll send it to a veteran. I will not wait till morning. So we do this because we love it, and it's needed. So when somebody's sitting there, they're being evicted, or if they need food money or gas money, or their lights have just been turned off, or they're getting ready to be turned off, that's stressful. That is
I
very
believe it.
stressful. And we
Yeah.
take it very seriously. So I get the funds out as soon as they come in, and I don't mess around. I don't sit on that money.
That's awesome. Just want to let everyone know, in the description below, you could check out the website, codavets.com. Of course, it's just codavets.com but if you want to click it, it's down below. Definitely check it out. Also, the Twitter account, where actually, let me ask you. So I'm going to donate this. We've raised over $300 already. Thank you guys very much.
That's amazing.
Who are you helping right now? Who's the topic
Yeah.
at hand?
Well, we actually have 9 veterans posted right now, and
Okay.
I think 6 of the 9 are under eviction notices. We have one of the most pressing cases is we have a young Marine vet family. They had a preemie baby. He was 27 weeks old, and he passed away in the hospital. They had to pay for his funeral, and they used all of their bill money. So now they're being evicted. So we want to help alleviate some of their pain while they're grieving, and take care of that eviction. So it's
Yeah.
$2,300. So they're at the top of our list. They're not in good shape emotionally. They're being evicted on Thursday, which in a couple of days. So they are a very
2
high
days.
priority case. Yeah. So that's number one. And we have another vet who's a single dad of 2 kids being evicted. He's another high priority. It's all of these situations are just, I can't begin to stress how serious they are. And it's almost like we're their last hope. Once you come
Yeah.
to Code of Vets, these are the vets who've fallen through the cracks in the very systems, whether it's on the public sector side or the VA side, and they find us by chance or by word of mouth, or we have VA case managers who are saying, hey, go check out Code of Vets to see if they can provide some immediate assistance, because the VA doesn't work in real time like we do. It takes months,
Right.
So we're always triaging our cases, and we put our homeless vets first. We put our eviction notices first, because we have found if we can keep our veterans in their home, and not allow them to become homeless, it makes it easier for everybody, because once they become homeless and they end up in their car in a hotel room, it becomes so much more complex.
Right.
So we actually have 38 eviction cases right now, and it's just we do what we can, and we have, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And we're finding, I do want to share why we're getting so many eviction cases. So,
Mm.
with all of the inflation, landlords are raising the rent. And so, when these leases are coming up, this is with 100% of the vets we're working with, their rent has been raised at least by $200 when their lease is coming up.
Wow.
So, they can't absorb it. They don't have the money to if it, one of our vets was $350 a month. They can't, especially with gas prices and groceries as being as high
Right.
as they are. So they come to us and say, we're going to be homeless. We cannot pay this. So what is happening is these veterans are on vouchers. VASH and HUD have the vouchers for housing, and they are not keeping up with inflation. They are not modifying the vouchers to match what the landlords are doing, which
Right.
leaves the veteran with this deficit that they can't cover. So we're seeing an explosion in evictions throughout the country based on this, and we can't cover it all. We try, but our line is so long, and I can't imagine other vet orgs out there as well that are taking on these cases. So this is a real issue. This is our country is in real crisis when it comes to this inflation. It's causing a whole new level of homelessness we've never seen before. Even through the pandemic, the 2 year the shutdowns. This because everybody is just wiped out from that. And now we
Yep.
head right into historic inflation. You might as well forget it. People are just like tapped out.
Yep.
So it's scary. It's very stressful for us because we're trying to get as many vets as we can through our system, but we can only raise so much funds. So that's why I just can't stress the seriousness of when you look at these cases that we're putting out. You're talking about single dads with 2 kids, or a mom with 3 kids, and then we do have some vet families. When we put out that they're being evicted, they're going to be homeless. they're
Yeah.
going to be in their car, and that's not acceptable in our country, Adam.
I agree. Is it, you're very obviously a very positive person. Um, I can't help but ask. I mean, it's not always a mission success. Am I right? Or, is
No,
it tough facing that?
no, we do not have a mission success every time, because every vet that comes to us is not motivated to make the changes in their life to get out of that rut of dysfunction or whatever's keeping them in that cycle, holding them back from a productive life. So
Yeah.
we require them to work with us. Cindy gives them homework to do, and they have to provide her with proof. She breaks it down step by step of what they need to do to bring to her, so
Mm.
that we will provide funds for them in return.
Oh,
Again, we're not an ATM. That's not how it works, because it will not benefit them just to give them 1 month's of bills and then say, okay, see you later.
right.
We want to make sure that on their end that they're trying to do everything in their power to build a better life, to try something different. So we really encourage our veterans to research their GI Bill and to get back into school, or to go through a retraining, because there's a retraining program out there through the VA that you can go through, and it covers your housing while you're taking your classes and getting the skill of whatever it is.
Mm.
And so we actually, a lot of our vets do that, which is amazing. We have vets in their 50s and 60s who are using this retraining program. And
Nice.
I think it's VRRP, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember offhand, but VRAP or something like that. So that's another resource that we've been guiding our veterans to, because again, if it's going to pay for your housing, it's beneficial. And if you're having trouble with keeping a job, or the job in your career field, if you're no longer relevant, especially if you're in your 50s, then get retrained and do something different, because you have to
Yeah.
be self-sufficient. And that we're very hardcore on that. We love our vets, you know, but I feel like we don't want to, they're responsible for their own life. We all are,
Yeah.
you know.
But
So
that's such a good step, because we were talking about, the structure of being in the military. You've got your purpose, and then boom, you're a civilian, and without all of that, there what you're saying are basically, I didn't really know that that's kind of what you guys do, and I think it's incredible. It's more of an easing into reality,
yeah,
like the civilian life. Like, use what's there for you, make sure you use it, you know do these steps. We're not just going to give you money. We
right,
want to
yeah,
help you. You got to know
yes.
we want to help you, and we're going to help you, but we're not just going to give you money. You guys are helping much more than just financially. That's awesome. Yeah, very
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, one of our most recent cases was a 26-year-old Native American Army vet who had gotten out. He was at Fort Hood, and they discharged him homeless, which is Pueblo obviously didn't know. I don't understand how that happened, but he should have known. If he checked the box, no address to go to, or once you're discharged, that's a problem. So, but anyway, he ended up in his car, and then he ended up in a homeless shelter in Killeen, Texas. And so we raised money for him, but Cindy was in the background saying, "Hey, you're 26." So they talked about his GI Bill. He filled it all out. He's going to go to school now. He's registered for school. So we did secure an apartment for him. We've got him in there. His GI Bill is up now, and he is registered for school. He's got a part-time job. So we took him out of the homeless shelter and did that with him, not for him. We did it with him.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be okay. He's going to be stable, because once that GI Bill kicks in and he starts those classes, that's going to cover his bill. Not only cover school, but cover his bills, which is amazing. So, and plus he'll have a part-time job for food and gas. So
There it
I,
is.
I, I'm just so proud of what we did. And we did that for another young female vet who got out homeless. So it's disconcerting for me to see the military discharging some of our young people homeless, because there's supposed to be system in place for that not to happen, but we as an entity are seeing it happen because they are finding their way to us. So that's another
Yeah.
weakness, that in the system that we all need to talk about. It needs to be known. It is happening. um, we love to help our young vets who are just getting out, but at the same time we need to make sure that the mechanisms that are in place are actually working for them.
Right.
So somewhere, somehow, the ball is being dropped on some of our young vets getting out. And I will say that our young male vet who got out, both of his parents were deceased, so he didn't really have any family support, or he had nowhere to go until he
Mm.
got on his feet. So that's how he ended up in his car. So, and we had another female that she was discharged pregnant and homeless. I'm like, oh my goodness, you
Wow.
know. So have all these cases, but you know what? We take on each one at a time. We treat them as individuals. We don't herd them through like cattle, and we make sure that they're going to be stable moving forward. So I think that's important for everybody to know that we're just not handing out 30 days worth of bill money. We will not do that.
Is there any chance that you could take over the VA? just just get
I
rid of them and take
tell you
over.
what. I tell you what, Cindy and I think together we could do some good things with the VA, because we've
I
learned so
bet.
much. We've been out in the weeds with these vets, one vet at a
Mhm.
time. But again, we've assisted thousands across the country. Every
Yeah.
state, we've dealt with every state. So we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot, and we are creative in how we work with these vets. So it can be done. The VA could be a better entity, but a lot of it comes down to mismanagement of funds. Once
Oh,
those
yeah.
funds are allocated to all of these contractors and subcontractors, you're talking about pennies on the dollars that are just trickling down to the veterans. By the time the services get to the veterans, it's substandard. It's inconsistency of care.
Yeah.
It just there just needs to be more oversight of the funds. And that's not happening. And I don't know. It's just, but we would love to sit down and have a talk with them.
I would love that too. Man, it sounds like they need it. Wow, we are almost to $400. Seriously, everyone, thank you very much. Just a reminder, every super chat is going to Coda Vets today. This is incredible. You guys are incredible. for that. Thank you all very much. This is actually from my mom. My mom just super chat. It's from Robin, my mother. She says, "Donate love, love what you're doing. Keep up the important work." Well, thank you, Mom.
Thank you,
That's
Robin.
she's my
That's
number one
amazing.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she should be. That's great.
GJJ for $20. Didn't even say anything. Thank you so much, just for the cause. Awesome. Danette for 5. Thank you. Thank you with a little heart. Allison for $10. Thank you, Allison C. Says, for an amazing lady and an amazing organization. Absolutely. I'm seriously, the organization is just, it's so much more than what I thought, right? I'm very grateful that you came on to explain it, because I already liked what you were doing. But now that I kind of know a little more details about how much
Yeah.
you're doing, from a distance, you can't, like you said it earlier, you're like, people don't really know, they don't see it. They see that this is what's needed, mission accomplished.
Right. They
They
don't
don't,
see in between. Right.
I
Right.
think there needs to be more awareness to that, about what you're doing. I want
Well,
more people to know about that.
yeah, I just think I need to get out and do more interviews. But Cindy and I are just literally so covered up in helping veterans. It's hard for me to break away because we deal
Yeah.
with such serious cases. But even her husband's a retired. He's a Vietnam era vet himself, and he's a
Okay.
retired CFO. So the veterans that come through our system, um, she will send them to him, or set up phone calls with him if they need credit repair counseling, budget counseling, financial guidance. And because he's a guru, that's what he did for so many years. He's retired,
Yeah.
and he has time on his hands. So we try to cover as many bases as we can with our vets, to address as many of the issues in their life as we can, because a lot of the vets that come our way, they do have some credit issues, and just so many things that we can look at, and we try to touch as many as we can. And it's great as we grow, and more professionals find out what we do. They offer their services, so we can say, hey, to the vet, hey, give this guy a call. He'll have a conversation with you and see what he can do for you. And I love it. I mean, we just built this, base for our veterans, so that when they come to us, they're going to get more than just funds. They're
Yep.
really going to they're really going to get a
Help.
second chance at life.
Yeah. The real help that they need.
Yeah,
Not just
exactly. Yeah,
here,
yeah. Right,
just push your troubles to next month. It's like,
right,
eh,
right.
it's still there, it's not that it's, you learn from your dad. You got to tackle the issue and fix
Yeah,
it, instead of pushing it down, or pushing it further down the road,
that's
until
right.
you don't even make it that far down the road. What was your father's name?
Sergeant Danny Smiley.
Sergeant Danny Smiley.
Yeah, yeah.
Sergeant, thank you for creating such an amazing woman. I hope that he sees the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank
And,
you. I,
thank you
I
for
feel his
your work.
spirit with me. Thank you, Adam, for having me
Good.
on.
It's seriously my pleasure. I'm man, I'm getting a little teary. I've had some a lot of people in my life in the military. My brother was in the Marines. It just means a lot to me.
I've lost
Uh,
you.
oh, you can't hear me? Huh. I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to hear me. Check, check, check. Hello.
Mm-mm.
I wonder why you can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? Let's see if my microphone's working. Settings, audio. Yeah, my mic is still working. I don't know why you wouldn't have lost me. Yeah, the chat can hear me. She's checking. Just to let everyone know, she does have a storm going on, so I don't know if that's kind of why we went live early. I actually heard thunder sometime during that interview. It is a shame that she lost my audio at that moment. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. Yes, I can
Oh,
hear you.
okay. Okay,
Well,
great.
it is a little choppy. Maybe the storm is getting worse. You're cutting in and out right now.
All right. Well, I think we were able to get the mission out there, don't you, Adam?
Absolutely. We are over $549 right now. Chat, thank you so much, everybody. I really have been looking forward to this interview. I've actually been wanting to interview Gretchen for quite some time because it's seriously one of my favorite accounts on Twitter. It's a really good account that has such an incredible purpose, and they're out there helping. So I'm going to read the rest of these super chats while hopefully she could rejoin us in a little bit. Let's see here. Tater salad for $10 says, retired Army here. I'm always game to be there to pick up for my brothers and sisters. Thank you very much, Tater. I appreciate that. Shocks M for $10. Thank you very much. Zachariah for $10 says, the world needs more of you. Thank you for everything. COV. Just be sure to take care of yourself as well. Absolutely. Yes, the world absolutely needs more people like Gretchen. Can you hear me now? Are you... I can't hear you. We lost her again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Wait.
I think we're coming in and out.
Are you yeah, I can you're clear again. I can hear you now.
Okay, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Oh, awesome. All right. We've hit over $564.
That's amazing.
Thank you, everybody. This is incredible. I'm just gonna keep reading them. DJ for 5, thank you. Jesus for 10, just gives a little thumbs up. Comics Division, hey, what's up, Comics Division? For $25 says for the cause. This is another YouTuber, great guy, and giving something for the cause. St. Miles for $20 says, go Army, beat Navy, from an Army vet / Air Force brat. Nice. Thank you, St. Miles. Kylar for $5 says, growing up, I was always told that the military was only for meatheads. I realize now I was being naive. Thank you for all of your work, Coda Vets. Agreed.
That's amazing.
Jesus for $10 says, here's another super chat for the cause. Thank you very much. Metastep for $50. Thank you, Meta. I really do appreciate that. PTSD sucks. I love you all. Thank you, Metastep. I appreciate that. Cougar Kitty for $10 says, sending love. Toxic Man Flu for $100.
Wow.
Toxic Man Flu, thank you so much. Says, God bless you. Thank you so much for your support on and off. This is actually the first time I've actually done something like this, like a donation day. But it couldn't have been for a better cause and for a better person. Thank you very much. And thank you, Toxic Man Flu. We might have lost her because she is going through a storm right now. And that's kind of why we went live a little earlier. She told me I might have lost her. But whatever we may have regained her. There she is.
Okay, I'm back.
We're back. I figured we might have lost you to the storm. I did hear some thunder going on earlier.
Yes, yeah. We had a severe thunderstorm rolling through. Several.
Okay. Oh, you're very clear now. It seems
okay.
Something's changed.
Okay.
All right. That's good. All right. I'm glad. The Dude for $10. Thank you very much, The Dude. J Bills for $50. J Bills, thank you very much. Says, God bless you, your good works. Agreed. Raunchers for 15. Thank you very much. And Ryu for $20 says 20 for the based, based B and the Crigler on guitar. Oh, well, thank you very much, Ryu. I appreciate that. We have hit $584, guys. That is incredible. I was not expecting that. I told her, I was like, probably, a couple $100, which would be great. I'm so grateful for everybody for coming together and super chatting for this incredible cause. And, we're going to help. This money, as you heard, it's not going to sit somewhere. It is directly going to go to help somebody in need. Not only just somebody, a veteran who has served for us. And well, not everyone is American. I have people that view from all over the world. It's really cool if you're watching right now from wherever you are. But for the Americans, this money is going to someone that actually served us. And I really appreciate that. Gretchen, it has been seriously a pleasure talking to you and hearing more about what you do and the reason why you do that. And thank you. That's the best. That's all I can say is just thank you for your hard work. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. And I appreciate you sharing the mission. I think it's important for your audience and just people in general to hear about what we're doing, because it's, we need all the support we can get. That way we can touch more lives.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. We got one more super chat for $20, which kicked us over $600.
Awesome.
It's amazing. Thank you, everybody. This is from Tater Salad again. Says, let's hit 600. Well, you did it, Tater. Thank you so much. We got more. Ryu, Crigler. Yes, it's my last name. That's what I meant. You know that. Oh, no, I know that's what I said. Also, Itch was the last. YouTube wouldn't let me type. Oh, it wouldn't let you type it. Well, I didn't want to say it anyway, because I don't know if it's fitting, but I appreciate the support either way. But anyway, guys, you are all awesome. Thank you very much for all of the support, all of this money. I'm seriously going to end the show, and I'm going to go right to her website and donate it. I'm just going to do it from the reserves and not even wait for the super chats, because we got another $20 super chat, so it's $629 now. It's amazing, guys. Thank you so much. It says buy Commodore's Reserve. That's actually the name of my coffee blend, because I actually started a coffee company in 2020. It's called Crigler Coffee. It's roasted after you order it, so it's the freshest coffee you can get. I'm not trying to pitch my coffee. I go into auto mode. But Commodore's Reserve is the name of the blend that supports 22 until 9. You know what? I'll be honest. That bark didn't surprise me. I don't know why. I can almost see the look, the style of your dog. Is he got curly hair?
Yeah.
Does he have curly hair?
Yes.
I'm not surprised. I'm not. I love dogs. All dogs. He just wants to come say hi. That's what it is.
Good boy.
He knows. He's like, this guy likes dogs. All right. I just want to say hi to him. Chet, we got one more for $5. Says Chet Chisholm says, this means more to me than I could ever convey. So many vets and first responders are left on their own, unable to cope. Thank you both. Chet, thank you very much. This is one of my longest running supporters. There's a lot of people that have followed me from when I was on this other show, Timcast. So it means a lot that they follow me, and it's the least I can do is to bring awareness to this. So thank you very much, Gretchen. It's an incredible show. We got another $20. I got to say it. J2, thank you so much for that 20. We just hit $650, guys. Amazing.
Yep,
This is amazing. All right. So thank you all very much for all of that. Gretchen, seriously, it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I'll see you on Twitter.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. I see you, Robert. For $4. Thank you very much for that little super sticker. All right. Good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.